Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for a Wednesday edition of the Steel City Sports Report, where we talk everything Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates. I am your host, Brady Vini. Welcome back on, I would usually say, a nice Wednesday evening here, but if you live in Western Pennsylvania like I do, you know that storms are moving through quite quickly here, so gonna try to make this a bit of a short episode here tonight, just in case I were to lose power or internet connection. But anyways, happy to have all of you here. Going to be talking some more Pittsburgh Pirates baseball here today. Some good, some bad. Got another win here today. like Lou Brown says in Major League 2, or says in Major League. We won a game yesterday. We win one today. That's 2 in a row. We win one tomorrow. That's called a winning streak. That is where the Bucks currently are right now, taking 2 of 3 from the Cincinnati Reds. We will recap their last two games, the one from last night and the one from this afternoon here in a moment. Also going to be talking about some bad news on the Pirates front, some news that we learned of a couple of players going to be missing the rest of the 2025 season, and much more. Let's go to the comments real quick before we get started. Chad Schrader in there, sup. Hopefully our Steelers just roll with Mason Rudolph. I'm sick of waiting on Grandpa Rodgers. We're going to have some more Aaron Rodgers news as well later in the episode. Hope you stick around for that, Chad. Glad to see you back here. If you guys are new here and you like what you see here and what you hear, feel free to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so that you never miss when I am live again. Also, like and share this stream and comment in the live section, just like Chad did right there. We're going to get things off and rolling here before the Storms get any worse here. Let's talk about the Pittsburgh Pirates and what is going on with our lovely local ball club. Pirates were in action last night, another 6:40 start time, game 2 of the series against the Cincinnati Reds. Bailey Falter was on the bump for the Buccos, and he was very, very strong. 7 innings pitched, only gave up 4 hits, no runs, no walks, 5 strikeouts, 79 pitches, 55 of those were for strikes, got 7 swings and misses. Just great stuff there from Bailey Falter. He has actually been the Pirates' best pitcher as of late. Falter, 7 scoreless innings. He finished yesterday's game with a now 0.38 ERA. So well below a 1 earned run average, even below half an earned run average so far in May. That is 1 earned run given up in 23 and 2/3 innings pitched, obviously the lowest in the National League there. So the Pirates in the game, they got 1 run across. That came in the 6th inning. Brian Reynolds singling to right field. O'Neal Cruz flying around third base comes in and scores. And that is all the Bucks needed, really all they can do. But thankfully, all they needed. They won 1-0 last night. Fast forward to today. Bucks got off and rolling early, a 1-0 lead in the 1st inning. O'Neal Cruz and Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, the top 2 hitters at the top of the lineup here today, they got on. Brian Reynolds brought in O'Neal Cruz with a sacrifice fly. Reds ended up tying that ball game in the 3rd inning. Then in the 4th inning, so right after that, not too long after that, the Bucks, they came through again. Henry Davis, what a game. I will give hats off to you today, Hank Davis. An absolute monster game from the 1-1 overall pick, who played like a 1st overall pick here today. Henry came through with what would end up being the game-winning run here today, a RBI single. And then Key Brian Hayes got an insurance run in the 8th inning, doubling to left center field. 1 run came he would later then come across to score on an Adam Frazier single. Just wrapping up on Davis here. He not only gets the game-winning RBI here today, he was phenomenal defensively. He showed every bit of why he is the best defensive catcher on this team right now. Throughout Benson, the right fielder for the Cincinnati Reds today, on a steal attempt, and also a phenomenal tag, one of the better tags you are going to see this year from an MLB catcher. Ball was hit into the left field corner. Tommy Pham cuts it off, throws it to Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, the caught-off man, and Davis stood at home plate, didn't block the plate, had the wherewithal to, not get in trouble with the Buster Posey rule and all that. And then Davis just stood there, almost like Michael Myers, waiting for that ball to come in. And then at a moment's notice, he got the ball about right here, about little over, head high. got that tag down, got the runner out. Just phenomenal play all around by Henry Davis here today, and you hope that you get to see him with some more runway here soon. I know Andy Rodriguez, he is going to be back eventually. Hopefully that's sooner rather than later. I know you still got Joey Bart, but you got to play preferably Joey Bart more at first base or somewhere else. Henry Davis, the way he played here today, you got to give that kid a little bit of runway, see what you got, play him other than when he is Paul Skenes' personal catcher on Skenes days. So all around great draw by Henry Davis here today. Bucks ended up winning today's ball game 3-1, but we got to talk about it. Even if I'm not sure if you saw the headline for today's video, even in victory, the Pirates end up losing. Bucks still in last place in the MLB in terms of batting average, RBIs, runs, and OPS. They took 2 of 3 from the Reds, but in the series as a whole, this 3-game series against Cincinnati, they scored just 5 runs, and that marks last night and today's game, ladies and gentlemen, marks 26 straight games with 4 or fewer runs for the Pirates. That ties the all-time modern baseball era record. The Bucks tying the 1931 Boston Braves and the 1969 California Angels. So 2 teams that do not exist anymore. The Angels, now the Anaheim Angels, Boston, now the Red Sox, or I'm not sure if you want to say they're the Atlanta Braves now. I don't know. But the Bucks have now reached an unfathomable feat in the year 2025 when baseball seems to be more and more offensive powered, offenses favored as the years go on, and the Bucks with this crap lineup put together by general manager Ben Cherington has reached 26 games where they cannot give their pitching staff any sort of a comfortable lead. And it's absolutely horrible. I mean, just looking at today's lineup, it's bad when this record is going on, this streak here of 26 straight games, and the Pirates have made little to no changes at the major league level. Tommy Pham was back in there today. He struck out twice. He's horrible. Adam Frazier actually did something for once this year, getting an insurance run. Who knew that he could do that? Well, I think actually after that, he then made a mistake. He got thrown out as soon as he got that hit. So, just all around, just the today, again, not getting any run support, but hey, they got 2 out of 3. A win's a win, but it comes with a grain of salt. I am not sure if you folks can hear that through that mic. I just saw a big lightning flash out my window here, and then a good 6, 7, 8 seconds of thunder. So, things are going to get really chippy here. Let me go back to the comment section real quick. Chad Schrader, I really wish I could win $1 billion so I can kick Bob Nutting out of the owner's booth and bring the Okay, are we back? Hopefully we're good. I think we're good here. Maybe. All right, I think we're good now. Sorry, folks. Connection cut out there after that lightning strike. But anyways, back to the comments. Like I was talking about, Chad Schrader, I really wish I could win $1 billion so that I can kick Bob Nutt out of the owner's booth and bring the Pirates back to the great times. Chad, I love that enthusiasm. I really do. Unfortunately, I don't even think $1 billion is gonna, cut it anymore. The Pirates, they're one of the more profitable franchises out there, and you probably need a little bit more than $1 billion to even get Bob Nutting to consider selling at this point. So I love that enthusiasm. maybe if you hit $1 billion, get, a GoFundMe, get some Pirates fans. I'm sure Pirates fans would pay a lot to get Bob Nutting out. But yeah. Yeah, thank you for understanding there. Said this happened to me before. I tried to go live like as early as possible here tonight, get out ahead of this storm, but the storm moves faster than us sometimes. Gonna talk on some other Pirates news here today. We learned before today's game some news from Todd Tomzich. He is the head physician and medical guy for the Pittsburgh Pirates, and we learned the worst Pirates senior director of sports medicine. There's his official title, Tom Tomzich. He spoke today before the Bucks and Reds game, and we did learn, I guess you could say, the worst case example for right-handed pitcher Jared Jones. I'm not sure. Anyways, reports came out. He met with the media, said that Jones will underwent surgery today to repair an injury to his right elbow. The Pirates official post on this is that surgery today took place in Dallas by Dr. Keith Meister. The procedure performed was a repair to the UCL. A projected return to full competition is 10 to 12 months for Jared Jones. Again, Dr. Keith Meister, he is the best in the MLB when it comes to these types of surgeries. And the thing that intrigues me is that they did not use the two dreaded words for pitchers, Tommy John. That was not used in any way in any of the posts or updates I've seen on this. They are not calling it Tommy John surgery. Also, something to be very encouraging about. It is a 10 to 12 month recovery time frame. Well, I think Tommy John, that is 12 to 18. So Jared Jones probably not getting the worst case scenario, but still bad enough to where Tomzich said that he will miss the remainder of the 2025 season, and there was no additional time, no additional word on if time would be added to that 10 to 12 month time span. He did say how, we ended up at this point. It seemed like Jones was on the mend and was going to be back soon. I think he resumed throwing actions and was getting closer to starting a rehab assignment. And Tomzich said that late last week, Jones started throwing 100 feet, and then the arm didn't feel good, and that was when the decision was made. So that is the big news today out of Pirates land, that Jared Jones will miss the remainder of the season. And another thing that I want to point out here, shout out to Dan Zangrilli from 93.7 The Fan for saying this. He said that the Pirates fan base are the most unlucky fan base in all of sports, perhaps in history. And I mean, could that be exaggerated? Maybe, but I mean, you got to think probably, right? I mean, coming into this year, you thought you were going to see a 1-2-3 punch of Paul Skenes, Jared Jones, and Bubba Chandler. Now you may never see that, honestly, because, you got 10 to 12 months here until you see Jared Jones return. So probably, if you're lucky, late next year. If not, you're looking at the year 2027. And by then, Zangrilli brought up that the collective bargaining agreement in the MLB will be up, and that could, send the league into a lockout. So if the league goes into a lockout, that could spell trouble. That could waste another year from possibly seeing that phenomenal trio together. And then if you come out on the other side of that lockout, that's usually around the time where, if the Bucks don't get anything going with this franchise whatsoever, and they stay in the same crappy, basement of the league that they are right now, that's around the time where you'll see, Paul Skenes possibly get dealt and whatnot. So, just sucks today hearing that from Jared Jones. Again, the only bright spot to this is that they did not use the language and utter the words Tommy John. So that is encouraging somewhat. But then again, hopefully we get to see Jared Jones sooner rather than later. We wish him the best in his recovery. Also, going to wish the best in his recovery to infielder Emmanuel Valdez. Pirates reporters also reported this afternoon, that Valdez underwent surgery on his left non-throwing shoulder yesterday. That also came from Todd Tomzich. If you remember a couple of weeks ago, Valdez in one of the stranger plays this year, Bucks were down like 3-0 in the ninth inning. Valdez was looking to leg out a triple. He slid into third base, and he clearly was in pain with his shoulder. He called time and got tagged out with his hand off the base because he couldn't, use his other arm. So apparently that was more strenuous and more damaging than what we initially thought. He played a couple games afterwards, but he got surgery. He is out for the rest of the season as well. The only good news on the injury front that we got today was that we got an update as well on one of the Pirates' young promising prospects in left-handed pitcher Hunter Barco. Barco currently in AAA. He's been on the shelf recently with a shoulder injury. He was examined by team doctors and diagnosed with a mild muscle strain in his left shoulder and has resumed throwing activity. So that is great news there for one of the Bucks' top pitching prospects, and he didn't suffer a similar fate to Emmanuel Valdez. And let me go back to the comment section real quick, back to Chad. Hopefully the tornado holds off for a while. Yeah, I did see that we are getting tornado warnings in this neck of the woods. I think that's in effect until 7 p.m., if I'm not mistaken. Looking out my window above my screen right now, it seems like it's a lighter rain and the wind isn't, doing too bad. Looking at the radar, I think it's like mainly green with just little splotches of yellow and red. So hopefully it holds off. Hopefully we get a full show in here tonight. Last big story here on the Bucks here today, and then we will get into some of the hodgepodge, random news stories of the day that you can't talk about too much. Paul Skenes, with the Bucks being the way they are right now, they're in one of the worst, streaks of the franchise's history. Quite frankly, I believe they're now 7-33 on the year or something like that. They've gone 26 games now without scoring more than 4 runs. So, of course, when a team sucks like that, you're going to hear rumors about top players on that team getting, offloaded. And, on cue, Paul Skenes trade rumors, they heat up. You see trade packages from the Red Sox, from the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Mets, all these big market teams looking to trade for Paul Skenes, looking to cook up something like that in their minds. We all know that that is complete and total BS. We know that it isn't going to happen. And now, thankfully, finally, some big, baseball media personality spoke up on this. Shout out to John Heyman. He is an insider and columnist for the New York Post. He said that a Pirates source told him Paul Skenes is not getting traded. Quote, "No chance, no way, no how," is the way I heard it. While there's a bit of logic to such a scenario, which there really isn't, Heyman there, but keep telling yourself that. Superstars just aren't traded by anyone with 1 year service time, and the Pirates remain determined to build around Skenes. Now, I want to break down that post by Heyman a little bit. Paul Skenes isn't going to trade it, obviously. No chance, no way, no how. Players don't get traded 1 year into service time. That's what we're saying here. Paul Skenes, just a couple of weeks ago, officially made it 1 year since he got called up to the big leagues. And it's about damn time that someone with a meaningful, opinion in this MLB media world finally said it, because, at least let us have him for 3-4 years. You're trying to pry him away already. And I heard people saying, oh, the Pirates should go the route of the Chicago White Sox. The White Sox traded their Cy Young candidate level pitcher and Garrett Crochet to the Boston Red Sox, which is like, why? That's exactly what's wrong with baseball. These smaller market teams who have no chance are going to be forced. They're just a minor league team to the, big market teams like Boston. That's not what we want to do. The Pirates, they're not going to trade Skenes probably until this next collective bargaining agreement comes and passes, in hopes that a salary cap floor and ceiling is reached. So I'm glad Heyman finally, put that out there. While there's a bit of logic to such an area, there isn't logic. That's what I've just explained here. And the last thing that he said here that's really intriguing, Pirates remain determined to build around Paul Skenes. Are you sure about that? Because if they're determined to build around Paul Skenes, instead of building him a $1 billion mansion around him like you're supposed to, they're building him like, clay adobe houses that you learn about in freaking history class. Like what they've done around Paul Skenes is absolute garbage right now. He didn't use that they're planning to or that they want to. He said they're determined to. So it's about damn time you show it there, Bob Nutting. Pony up some money, fire Ben Cherington because he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. The only thing he could do, which is ironically enough the hardest thing to do in baseball, is find pitching talent. Every single other thing, which is, popularly believed to be easier to do, he is absolutely horrible at. The next time that he acquires or develops a major league bat in year 6 of his tenure would be the first time. So hopefully, we learn our lesson from what this absolutely wasted crap ass season. Hopefully we learn from those mistakes and they come back and they go out all out last year. Otherwise, that line right there, they're determined to build around Skenes, would be a complete and total lie, which is what the Bucks are good at doing to their fan base. Okay. I didn't even pop up the banner for that. There you go. Insider shuts down Paul Skenes trades talks. Moving on back to the comments here. Chad Schrader, thank God I ain't at home because there's tornadoes in my area and I slept through 2 tornadoes a couple of times. Yeah, I mean, seems more and more like tornadoes are becoming an issue this year. Thank goodness that you're all right combating the tornadoes in your area. And again, looking out my window here, the wind has died way down and it's just like a light mist right now. So hopefully we're in the clear for the time being and the worst has come to pass. 4 of you in here right now. If you're new here, please subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so that you never miss when I am live again. Also, comment in the live comment section like Chad did there. And like and share this video. Now we are going to get into the random news story segment of the day. It's going to be a bigger one today. There was a good bit of news, but, not too much to where you could, make a ton of segments out of it. I'm going to start with the Steelers. We'll start with football, work our way to some hockey talk, and then wrap it up with some more baseball talk. Let's talk about the Steelers and one of their rookies. Steelers rookie running back Caleb Johnson spoke recently, I believe, on a podcast or something, and he said that he could be the next great NFL running back, saying, I could be a Derrick Henry back or I could be a Dalvin Cook back. That's what separates me from a lot of backs in the league and in this class. I absolutely love that quote there from Caleb Johnson, and I believe that he has the tools to do it. He's like 6'1", 220 something pounds, if I remember correctly, from the profile that I had on him. He was an absolute beast at Iowa, running the ball, which if you watch college football, especially if you watch Iowa Hawkeye football, you know that they have the most non-existent passing game in collegiate football history, kind of like what the Steelers were under the Matt Canada offensive coordinating scheme. So great to hear that from Caleb Johnson. And, I believe he had the most yards per attempt when facing a loaded box. So love that confidence. I hate that people burden him with the title of, oh, he's Najee 2.0. He's much more than that. He looks like the full package, honestly. And I fully believe he could be that big power back like Derrick Henry or be more shifty and elusive like Dalvin Cook. And now time could tell. Excited that the Steelers got him. He was my 5th ranked running back in this draft class, saying that that's what separates me from a lot of backs in the league and this class. He was my 5th best running back in this class, right behind the consensus top 4, which was Ashton Genty, Omarion Hampton, Travion Henderson, and Quinshon Judkins. So glad the Steelers for a 3rd round pick 83, which is, in the middle to late portions of the 3rd round. I think they got an absolute steal with Johnson. Sticking with the Steelers here, of course, it wouldn't be a Steelers news program if you weren't talking about Aaron Rodgers and that current saga. We did hear today from 2 different I guess you would say one of them is an NFL insider and one of them is an NFL coach. I was trying to lump those 2 together with some similar title, but couldn't. Anyways, on the Up and Adams show with Kay Adams, Green Bay Packers head coach and former head coach of Aaron Rodgers, Matt LaFleur, was on, and he said that he fully expects Rodgers to become a Pittsburgh Steeler. In a similar tone later this afternoon, Adam Schefter, he was on a ESPN Milwaukee radio show saying that he expects Rodgers, or he thinks Rodgers will be on the Steelers roster in a week or so. After seeing, Rodgers at a concert recently, looking like he's having a good time. You got Adam Schefter, who's probably the most dialed-in NFL insider out there, and you got Rodgers' former coach, both saying the exact same things. You got both saying the exact same things. You got to think that a deal is coming soon. I'm sure, Chad, you are not too thrilled to hear that a Rodgers deal is coming soon. If I had to guess, we got 6 days now until OTAs begin on May 27th. So maybe we can get a word of that then. If I had to guess, watch, it'll probably be a weekend thing, and I will be hopping on here for a immediate breaking news live stream. So we'll have to wait and see. We did hear from Rodgers again. He was, I heard, on the Joe Rogan show podcast today. He says that the delay in deciding on next season is due to several people close to him battling cancer. His quote was, "I've been in the weeds with these people who are close to me that have cancer." And so I'm not sure if that's the whole situation as to why he's been holding off on signing with the Steelers or not. But regardless, thoughts and prayers to Rodgers and those close to him. Cancer is something that you never wish upon people, or even your worst enemy. So hopefully everything comes out smoothly there, and that hopefully we are on the mends and we are moving past this in a positive way. Hopefully they're doing all right and Rodgers can now get back into a football frame of mind. Back to Chad Schrader real quick. Hopefully Caleb Johnson can be the next Adrian Peterson. That'd be a hell of a idea there. That'd be a hell of a way to get him there. 3rd round pick turns into Adrian Peterson. I'd be okay with that. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head the player comps that I have for Caleb Johnson. It's been a month now since we had the draft. So trying to remember who all I had Caleb Johnson comped to. I'll see if I can think of one later on. back to the Steeler talk here, talking about a former Steeler, of course. Some hilarious quotes from George Pickens. He was seen in a Dallas Cowboy jersey and helmet for the first time a couple days ago, and he spoke with the Dallas media for the first time recently, and he had two very interesting quotes. Pickens first said, talking about the narratives around him, saying, quote, "I'm actually like a chill guy. There's a big phase of a tornado. That's not even true. I'm a chill guy and I just love to work." He would then continue saying, talking about being with the Cowboys now, it's super refreshing to be with a different culture. I don't want to accuse George Pickens of gaslighting, but George Pickens is gaslighting. I'm actually a chill guy. No, you're not, because you snap on the field at a moment's notice, taking penalties and doing dumb stuff when you don't get your way. There's a big tornado around me. That's not even true. Kind of most of it is true, my guy. And I just love to work. I just love to work, says the guy that has reportedly been late to the team plane, to the team bus, and was even late to the Steelers' Christmas Day game against the Chiefs, in which he was coming back from an injury and needed to get tested out pre-game. I just love to work. That's like me saying, I don't know. That's like me saying, oh, I got long, luscious hair. I could play the next Rapunzel live action. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Everything he said there was a lie. Also, it's super refreshing to be with a different culture. How much do you want to bet that George Pickens snaps by like week 4 or 5 and he is going to be, public enemy number 1 in Dallas, which is just as big, if not a bigger media market than Pittsburgh is? Crazy. Power to you, GP. Hope everything works out for you. But don't lie that that you were this perfect God-sent angel here in Pittsburgh, because you weren't. Speaking of wide receivers, let's move on from the past wide receiver in George Pickens. Let's talk about what hopefully could be the future wide receiver, and that is NFL insider Albert Breer. We all know right now about Chris Olave, and that the Steelers have reportedly been in contact with the Saints about a potential trade, nothing imminent, with the Saints for Chris Olave. Breer said that the Steelers inquired about trading for the Saints wide receiver early in the offseason. So we're talking about before Pickens got traded, possibly even before the draft, or maybe even before DK Metcalf got brought in. But that's got to tell you that George Pickens, I think as soon as the clocks hit triple zeros in that wild card game against the Baltimore Ravens last year that he played, we all should have known that he was going to be gone. So the Steelers, they've been in contact for a while now for the Saints. Rumors are that the Saints asking price is pretty high right now, a second and a third round pick, possibly looking for a first, which Olave, not saying that he's not worth that, but it's just too rich for the Steelers' blood right now. So we'll see how things play out there as we move forward, see if the Steelers end up getting Olave or if they ended up going a different round, maybe signing a Keenan Allen or Amari Cooper. Moving on to some national news for the NFL that the Steelers are mentioned in a little bit. Two rule changes were scheduled to be voted on today for NFL league meetings. One of those was a playoff reseeding change submitted by the Detroit Lions, and of course the big one, the vote to ban the tush push ran by the Philadelphia Eagles. News came out this morning that the Detroit Lions actually withdrew their playoff reseeding proposal, which Brooke Pryor, ESPN beat reporter for the Steelers, said that Mike Tomlin probably loves to hear that because he is a big division purist guy, and that you make your own luck. What your record is how you should be stacked up and whatnot. So that was one rule change that was withdrew today. Then the vote just took place 5 hours ago on the tush push ban. The final vote, 22 teams voted to ban it, while 10 teams voted not to ban it. That vote came up too shy of the 24 votes needed to ban the move. And interestingly here, Andrew Filipponi from 93.7 The Fan, take what you see from him with a grain of salt because he's been wrong posting stuff before, but haven't seen anything refuting this yet. He says that the Steelers were one of the 22 teams that voted in favor to ban the tush push, and I am a little in shock at seeing that. Hearing from what Mike Tomlin said earlier this year, he sounded the type like, oh, if we shouldn't punish creativity. The Eagles, they do something they do better than everybody else in the league, and we shouldn't, punish them for, doing something that you can't stop. We should figure out how to stop it. So I'm a little shocked. I'm not sure if that was Tomlin voting on it or if it was Omar Khan or Rooney II, who exactly for the Steelers was voting on that. But the tush push will stay. The Steelers apparently voted to get that out there. And also that kind of sits a bad look for the Steelers because the Steelers, they're the team that, you think when you think of the Steelers, you think hard smash mouth football, and them voting against a play that's very physical kind of, is crazy to think about. But hey, at least the Steelers, they at least are preparing to stop the tush push for future cases. I mean, hell, they drafted a 310 and 340 pound defensive tackle or defensive tackles in Derek Harmon and Y.A. Black, and they got a big, strong outside linebacker in Jack Sawyer. So hopefully the Steelers can compete the tush push and maybe, who knows, develop one of their own. Maybe you put Darnell Washington or Caleb Johnson under center and in a wildcat set and let them push. Because sure as hell, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is doing that tush push. Maybe Mason Rudolph or Will Howard could, but who knows? Last thing here that I have on the Steelers before we get into some Pittsburgh Penguins news. Small signing today. Steelers signed guard Nick Broker to a 1-year deal. Broker was a 7th round pick in 2023. I'm trying to remember. I want to say he was an Indiana Hoosier. I remember him coming out of the draft. I believe it was to the Houston Texans, if I'm not mistaken. But Broker, he appeared in 12 regular season games over the last 2 seasons, all in relief, according to Steeler insider beat writer for The Athletic, Mike DeFabo. So Steelers, they get another guard, probably just going to be a camp body once you get to Latrobe and OTAs here in 6 days. So we'll see how he'll fare and if he'll find a place on the Steelers roster. Now moving into some hockey talk. Not much hockey talk, though we do got a good bit to talk about here today. Pittsburgh Penguins coaching search is still ongoing, but could they be losing another coach? Possibly an assistant coach here. Darren Dreger, NHL insider, said today that the Seattle Kraken continue to work through their process in hiring a new head coach. They were granted permission to speak with Lane Lambert, assistant coach for the Toronto Maple Leafs. They've also are talking with Mitch Love and Dan Quinn are also believed. Dan Quinn, Penguins assistant coach, is also believed to be in the mix. I know not Dan Quinn, David Quinn I know he's supposedly in the mix for the Penguins job as well, but I put him near the bottom of the list in terms of chances of being the Penguins' new head coach. So we'll see. Thought that was interesting there. If it's not David Quinn, you could wind up seeing a completely and totally new coaching staff across the board for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Speaking of new faces for the Penguins, I just saw this here. Shout out Jesse Pollock, I believe from TSN. He posted the current 2026 free agent class is absolutely stacked. Now, as much as I am on the bandwagon of, hey, Mitch Marner, sign with the Penguins this offseason, you're Kyle Dubas guy, come play alongside Sidney Crosby, get us back to the promised land. I gotta, that's going to test my patience a lot of waiting for this 2026 free agency class. Now, I'm going to read off these names, but I would be shocked if even half of these guys wind up being free agents and don't sign extensions before 2026. Let's start from the top and work our way down here. Connor McDavid, Cale Makar, Jack Eichel, Kirill Kaprizov, Artemi Panarin, Alex Ovechkin, Sergei Bobrovsky, Kyle Connor, John Carlson, Matthias Ekholm, Evgeny Malkin, Jacob Markstrom, Adrian Kempe, Thatcher Demko, Rasmus Anderson, and so on and so forth. That is probably, as we sit here in 2025, next offseason, that would, if all of those guys or majority of those guys were to make it to the unrestricted free agent market, that'd be one of the most insane free agency classes of all time. And just looking at some of the names there, by then you got to think 2026. I think we get one more year out of Evgeny Malkin next year, and I think he might retire at that point. If he's not, maybe he goes the route of just a 1-year deal with the Penguins, sort of that road. But I mean, I don't know. Chris Letang, he had heart surgery. I don't know if that's going to affect his decision on how long he wants to play anymore. But just looking at the names on this list, the Penguins, they have the cap space now. Kyle Dubas did a great job of creating a good bit of cap space heading into this offseason. But if he doesn't use all this and the Penguins take next year as another year, sort of, selling off older assets and bringing in younger guys and doing this slowed rebuild back up to the top, 2026 free agency, if you have the cap space to go spend for big money, bringing in a Jack Eichel, like a Kyle Connor, maybe Adrian Kempe, I'd be cool with it. Those are, some younger guys who still got a lot of hockey left in them. I would be head over heels if one of those guys became a Penguin in 2026. But as of right now, let's focus. Maybe we get Mitch Marner. Who knows? Last thing on the Penguins here, just an update on what is going on overseas in the IIHF World Championship. Sidney Crosby and Marc-Andre Fleury are leading Team Canada over there. I believe they played today. I didn't see the score. Or no, it is tomorrow they play again at 2:20 in the afternoon. But just an update on how Sid's doing over there. He is dominating right now. 11 points, 4 goals, 7 assists, and is a +7 in the first 7 games of this international tournament, in which Canada is 6-0-1. He is second on Team Canada in goals and assists, and is third in points. His 11 points are also tied for 5th place in the entire tournament. So Sidney Crosby not taking any time off this offseason. He is still doing Sidney Crosby things for the Team Canada crest over in Denmark right now. Shout out to Sid. He is an ageless wonder. 2 more loose news stories that I have for today, both on the Pirates right now. Before today's game, not only did Tom Tomzich give a injury update on Jared Jones, Emmanuel Valdez, and more, Bucks also made a roster move, and an interesting one at that. right-handed relief pitcher Karma Majinski, who has served as the fifth man in the Pirates' starting pitching rotation, he got optioned to AAA today. I believe his ERA is somewhere in the 5 area. So he got sent down to AAA. Little shocked that they didn't just move him to the bullpen. And Mike Burrows, once a top prospect for the Bucks, and then he dealt with some arm injuries. He has been recalled, and he will be starting in place of Majinski, you would think, coming up tomorrow against the Brewers. I believe that is a 6:40 start time. So we get to see Mike Burrows. I think we saw him for a cameo appearance near the end of last season. And now you got to wonder how he'll do tomorrow night against the Milwaukee Brewers, arch nemesis, division rival of the Pittsburgh Pirates. And he will have a audience for him pitching. Garrett Jones, former Pirates first baseman, announced on Twitter today that he is heading back to the Berg for Pirates versus Brewers game next weekend. So he will be in the building to see the Bucks and Brew Crew play. The only problem that I have with that is, Garrett G.I. Jones, do you have some ball left in you? Because I am convinced that Garrett Jones could be a better bat than, the bottom 3-4 hitters in the Bucks lineup on a nightly basis. I know Spencer Horwitz can play some second base in a pinch. Move Horwitz to second if you want. Put Garrett Jones back at first base and let him crack a few into the Allegheny River again. So shout out G.I. Jones being back in the Berg. Sad part is it's not in a Bucks uniform. Let's do one more quick stroll here through Twitter, see if we got anything else going on before I log off here for the night. Just lots of talk around Twitter today on the tush push staying. Not really seeing anything else other than that. So I think we're going to call it here for tonight. Bucks, they wrap up their series, taking 2 of 3 from the Cincinnati Reds. Paul Skenes isn't getting traded, but his best bud, Jared Jones, will be out the rest of the season and probably most of next season as well, if not the entirety of next season. Who knows how his recovery will go. Hopefully it goes very well. Aaron Rodgers, more and more talk seem like he's going to be signing here soon, hopefully for real this time. And Bucks will begin a 4-game weekend series with the Milwaukee Brewers tomorrow, and we'll see if they can end the streak of 4 or fewer games played, or if they will become the new record holders of that. They tied the record. We'll see if they get to break it tomorrow. So with that, thank you all for joining me here tonight. I appreciate it very, very much. Shout out to Chad commenting in the comment section throughout the show. Appreciate it very, very much. Going to wrap things up here. If you're new here, please subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so that you never miss when I am live again. Also, feel free to like, share, and comment on this live stream. Appreciate you guys, and I will see you guys back here tomorrow around the same time for some more Pittsburgh sports news. Thank you guys. Have a great night.